Thank you all for being here.
Well, hi, this is Lynn. I'm Lynn McCright, and I'm here with Teresa Walding today. We're so delighted to be presenting this webinar. It's really all about nurse coaching, and I want to say a little bit about the history of nurse coaching. We have nursing is the very first and the only profession to actually offer a professional board certification in coaching. So I'll say that again. Nursing is the first and only profession to offer a board certification in coaching. We're ahead of the curve. We're the only profession that offers it in the United States. And we're so delighted to be a part of the organizing credentialing organization, the American Holistic Nurses Certification Corporation. They sponsor several programs. Ours is one of them. And we have a new way of talking about what nurses do and a new way of presenting a way to promote health to the public, which hasn't really been seen before. And it's changing lives all over the world in at least 63 countries worldwide. We are a global community, and what we're teaching now is catching on all over every continent that is on the globe. And we're here today specifically to talk about how it works in nursing. So let us begin. Oh, and we're joined with guests all the way from Hawaii to Denmark. So we really are a global community.
Wow, thank you, Lynn. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we'll get started and share a little bit about ourselves and our journey and why we do what we do, and some really big things that we teach in our course that I think are really making an impact for our patients and also for the providers of care. So,
So
Lynn?
powerless to powerful. I love the words that Teresa has used on this. And she's saying that what we're looking at now is the value of possibility in nurse coaching. We know that nursing is a powerful profession because it's actually the largest profession. We have 4 million nurses in the United States alone, and there are 14 million of us worldwide. The other part of the equation is that 30% of the nurses quit their jobs in the last 3 years. So things have changed very dramatically since the pandemic. And we're here to talk about what powerful options are available to nurses today.
So welcome. I would like for you to kind of sit back and listen with an ear to hear something maybe you haven't heard before that's personally helpful. Because when you experience that for yourself, you have the opportunity for a transformation or an insight, even in a webinar like this. I've talked to so many people, and they drop these little golden nuggets every time. And I want you to listen for that and see what's impactful for you, and maybe something that you haven't thought about before, because transformation is really what it's all about. Everyone's looking for something they think they don't have, something that they can't put their finger on. And I think this conversation has created that space for many people in little tiny conversations and big long conversations. And I just want you to be on the lookout for an opportunity for a breakthrough for yourself, because the impact of new ideas and on future conversations, on future ways that we show up in the world is huge. One little shift has created so many things in the world. You know, the light bulb is one of them. The telephone is one of them. I think this is on that level of seeing life from this perspective of our own thoughts creating our reality. not as an idea, but as something that really is helpful for a person. So my journey was started about 2015. I'd had about 5 years of chronic pain. I was done with nursing. I was tired. Life felt really, really hard. My husband was retired from the military. And if anyone's done that, the transition from military life to civilian life is not an easy one. And so he was going through a lot of his own changes, but that sort of disrupted our family a little bit. And, I had a daughter going through a divorce and another daughter with some health issues. And I thought, it's just too hard. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help them. My default setting is to worry. I think many people are. The more I worry, the more I love them. The more I worry, the more solutions I offer and the more things that I do, maybe that will make bad things not happen, right? They kept happening. The one that started breaking down was me. It was in this picture, I can remember sitting in my car and I took the picture and I thought, is this all there is? Isn't there something more to life than this? This was a couple of days before I went to this conference that I learned about separate realities, that I learned not to believe everything that I think, and that I did have some control over how I thought about life and what that would mean for my life. And as we talked about this way of thought that works only one way, I kept listening. I thought, I know that. I already know that. I've heard this a million times. And he said, no, really, only one way. And the way he said it, I went, oh, my thoughts are giving me my experience of all of these things happening in my life. And it truly rocked my world. I came to this conference with my resignation in hand to turn in on Monday morning. I had an insight into why I didn't want to do that it wasn't nursing that I wanted to leave. I just wanted the stress and anxiety to go away. And I didn't know how to do that. When I saw I was making up so much of the conversation, something happened within me. I can't tell you what it was, but it was deeply powerful and meaningful in my life. And I don't remember the rest of the conference because that one insight was enough for the rest of the week. On Monday morning, I had a new job. Nothing changed, just me. So that's when I decided at that conference to become a nurse coach. It was brand new to the world. We hadn't really even talked about it much. We had just heard about it and we're like, nope, everyone needs to know that there's this kind of transformation that's available. And it comes through a conversation. It comes through listening deeply, of hearing things in a new way that brings a lightness and a space and room to breathe to our lives. So Lynn and I made a commitment to open a school for nurse coaching and help bring this work to light. And it really truly is a global vision. We want to help people stop suffering needlessly, because if you can change in a moment, it's available for everyone. Lynn?
So the outcomes of today's training, this is interesting. Insight really is the outcome. That's what we're always looking for people to have a sight from within, a realization, an aha moment. Those are our coaching terms for what is there but hasn't been seen before. So our goals for today is that the 3 transformational ideas that we're going to talk about will uncover blind spots for you, things that are there but you haven't seen before in the way that we're going to talk about them now. And also, another transformational idea will show you who has the power. Who has the power? And we will, at the end of the program, offer an invitation to join our program for deeper learning about these transformational ideas.
So uncovering blind spots, we all have them. I had quite a few that really showed up as ways of thinking that looked normal to me, but other people didn't actually believe them, know they were there, but I lived as if everyone else thought the same way as me. When we uncover a blind spot, we actually have a breakthrough potential. And it moves us from that space of you don't know that you don't know something into the realm of the known. We all have these places where we can see the things that we actually know, things you realize that you do know. And there's those parts of us that go, oh yeah, I don't really know that, but we don't really engage in it. And we live our life in that little tiny space. And there's also all the things that you don't even know you don't know. That was where I was. I didn't know that worry was not an option or didn't have to be an option. It just looked normal to me. In my family, worry, the more you worry, the more you love someone. So the more you worry and the more you love someone, the more you talk about the worry and the problems. It creates more of the problems. When you realize there's things you don't know about life, such as your perception of life is only experienced by you, or that you only experience life by what you think about someone else or a circumstance, that's only you. And we can say, yeah, we know, and other people have different opinions or different beliefs, but to really hear that on a deeper level and say, oh, they are living their life from their perspective because it's normal and natural for them based on their history, the way they've grown up, the way they look at life. So we're all running around living in our own little world, not even knowing that there's another perspective and another way of looking at life we may or may not have considered. Lynn?
I just love this illustration. It's
It's
so
nice.
direct and purposeful. The colors are so bright and beautiful. Even in science today, we're coming to the realization that that little green piece of the pie, the things that you realize you really do know, is very small. We're in scientific world discovering things all the time about our archaeology, about the animals that live on this planet, the minerals that have not been revealed until now. But there's so much that we realize that we do know, but now we're realizing that big red slice of what we don't know. And we're beginning to wonder scientifically, what's out there? What's the rest of what's out there that we have no idea about? So it's an exciting time for us in the scientific community to be aware of all of these things, but bringing it back to what we're talking about today, it really is about our own awareness, things that we realize we know, things that we realize we don't know, and what is out there that we don't know. Huge amounts yet to be discovered. I know that we'll be learning things until the last day of our lives, because that's the way life works. And I'm so glad we're here.
So idea number 2 is the power dynamics of what does it really mean to be powerless versus powerful? Feeling powerless comes in various ways for us. Examples of work or personal life. Do you have a place in your life where you feel powerless? If you do, drop it in the chat and help us add to our list. Some of the things that come to mind for me are places like being a bad parent, or feeling like I can't control circumstances, or people pleasing is a big one. Learning how to interact with people who are different than me, think different than me, feels uncomfortable. And I listen to what other people say and then doubt myself. Like, oh, well, maybe I'm wrong. And those are all disempowering thoughts. I remember one day I was standing in the PACU, post anesthesia recovery room, and I was so excited to be there. And I thought, I can't wait to learn what I'm going to learn here. And so I was talking about that, and one of the nurses who'd been there for a while turned around and she goes, "You're such an optimist. You know it doesn't work that way." And I went, "Oh." And so to be in that environment inwardly, I thought, oh, in this environment, I can't be like that. That was very disempowering. Why did I do that? I have no idea. Why did I say to myself, I'll just be quiet? But I felt myself shrink inwardly. And I look back and I thought, I lived at that as that powerless person for so many years after that. And one day I thought, oh, you're the one that decided that. And suddenly, just like that, I thought, no, I'm going to be the optimistic person and excited and creative and see what I can create in this world. And the whole experience changed. And I thought, why do we do that to ourselves? How do we make those agreements within ourselves and we don't tell anyone about them? So that powerless feeling is truly just a thought. We do it to ourselves because we're the ones that agree to act or respond in a certain way to be in that circumstance, or to not be called out, or to just fit in. I realize I've never fit in. I want to help people and I want to help them full out. And that feels very powerful. And so that's how we ended up doing this. Lynn, tell us what this is.
Well, this is actually our opening day. We had a wonderful conference through the American Holistic Nurses Association, and this was June of 2016. I'm at my table, and we're in Florida. There's Teresa on the screen. She wasn't able to be there in person, but she was there in heart and spirit. And I was just overjoyed to see this reality coming into being. I had known for 30 years that this day was coming and that we would be able to bring something of huge value to nursing. At that time, 30 years ago, I just thought, well, I'll have to wait for 30 years for people to catch up to me. But now that we've found nurse coaching to bring the transformational ideas forward, it's happening so much faster. And in a way, we're already another 30 years out there in thinking what our vision will be for the future of nursing.
So idea number 3 is transformational education, which in our case is nurse coaching. But it could be anything. It could be something that people are teaching of how to look at a specific topic a little differently. But the value of transformational education improves lives. It gives us a new way to talk about the things we want to do in life. It creates a space for creativity to do things different than we've done before. We know the healthcare system is breaking. We know. I hear it every day. I meet people who are in the hospital and they're so busy, they didn't have time to do this, or they didn't have time to take care of me. And people are falling through the cracks. With nurse coaching, we empower people, our clients, ourselves, to really take a new look at what health is, What does that mean for our lives? Again, it's back to our thinking about it. If we give away our power to the healthcare system or to the doctor, as a nurse, I've heard many, many, many times, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Just tell me what to do. I don't know what to do anymore. And we give away our power, and then we don't take any responsibility for ourselves. Understanding this piece that we're talking about with separate realities and how we view life actually brings simplicity to life. It actually helps quiet our thinking and gives us access to that knowledge of the I don't know, I don't know. Sometimes we do know, we just cover it up. We put the Band-Aid on. I'll look at it later. Especially with our health, we don't look at maybe a symptom as something we can prevent a future problem from happening. I call them love letters. Are we listening to the love letters our body is speaking to us and saying, you know, you should get that checked out. You know, you should eat a little better. You know, X, Y, and Z, what it is, you know, inside yourself, what you should do. But again, we squash that little voice. We feel powerless, or it feels too effortful to make a change. The beauty of understanding this type of transformation of giving people new eyes to see the world with doesn't have to be hard. It's the simplest thing in the world when you have the eyes to see it. Our program does that. It opens the aperture of your conditioned thinking to help you access stuff you don't even know you need to know. It's a very powerful way to look at life because it creates this ability to internally self-soothe and to decrease that stress and anxiety, which stress is the leading cause of disease in the world. So transformational coaching, while it sounds like, oh, it's something out there, it's not. It's something in here. And we show you how to do that.
Taking so we're looking at exploring unuseful thoughts here, and mostly it revolves around taking things personally, which there is no need to do because life happens. Another one is I need to control everything. That was Teresa at the conference, thinking about her husband, her daughters, her job, feeling like she had to have a say in everybody else's life. And it simply wasn't true. That was the breakthrough for her. Thinking about I'm not enough. Wow. That single thought right there has done so much, I'll call it damage on the planet, because people have been led to believe in their own thought system that they couldn't do something and or anything, and it's kept us all back from our natural evolution of humanity, thinking that we were not enough. Another thought, I'm not worthy. Oh my goodness. The same thing really as I'm not enough, just another version. So Teresa,
I just wanted to put a list because I think we identify ourselves in this way and pointing to the fact that this is not true and being able to express that in a way that is very helpful to people. Because releasing unhelpful thoughts is simply an ability to recognize what you're doing with your own thinking, recognizing separate realities, and noticing thinking that doesn't serve you. Those I have noticed for myself that when thinking is not serving me, I get these little twinges in my stomach, or I feel a little bit of stress or anxiety. And I know the system is working perfectly. I know that it's because of what's going on in my thinking that's that's creating the right environment for the stress hormones to run through my body and give me these symptoms. And in those moments, I give myself grace, because understanding how it works also helps me to realize I don't have to stay there, because thoughts, they don't stay for any length of time. You could be happy in 1 minute and crying in the next based on the way you're thinking. And I don't think it didn't come as clear to me as this day when I was with my daughter and she was going through her divorce, and I was taking her home because he took the car and the kid and everything else with him. Um, and I thought I needed to fix her. I needed to make sure she was okay. And all of my suggestions were, quote, falling on deaf ears. And I thought, I don't know what to do to help her. And it was my own internal anxiety that was causing me stress. I looked at her and I was like, she doesn't seem to be as worried about this as me. And as we came to the stoplight, I decided to let her go. I looked at her and I said, I keep giving you advice and I know it's not what you really want to do. So from now on, if you want my opinion, you have to ask, and I'm okay if you don't take it, but I'm not going to give you my options for you anymore. And she just looked at me like she's lost her mind, right? Because mom has done this her whole life. At the next stoplight, she said something, and I didn't respond in my normal, oh, I think you should. I was just quiet. And she looked at me and she said, you're serious, aren't you? And I said, absolutely. I said, I know you know what's right for you. And I took her home. And the next day she said, what you did for me was life-changing. It's like you trust me to be an adult. And that feels really, really good. And for me, it felt like freedom. And our relationship has never been the same. It opened up a space where we can communicate, yet we can still live our own lives. And that felt like freedom, because that releasing that thought, that attitude, or that belief that I needed to do something, because of course nurses are fix-it people. We try very hard to do that. Gave me a freedom that also expanded into the rest of my life and my career. It was wonderful. And I remember that every time I get ready to say something like, I think you should, and I just stop myself. There's no point in going there. So I'd like to transition into, what does investment for transformation like this cost? Our program is $46.65. And if you have 10 years left in your career, that's actually $400 a year. Basically $30 a month or $1 a day. Would you invest $1 a day if it completely changed your life and gave you that internal freedom, that ability to recognize your own perceptions of life and how they impact you? Because when you do that, you're actually impacting everyone around you. When you simply show up in a different way, you're actually changing the world. That's the kind of transformation that's available through nurse coaching, or anyone that we touch. It comes through to us as a conversation. Transformative conversations can happen in a couple of minutes, or they can happen over time as little pieces of insight begin to happen. And people are like, I don't know what you said, but it's changed my life. I actually had that happen yesterday with a man that I talked to in London. He said, we were talking about this kind of transformation because he's in our community, but I hadn't talked to him before, and he's new to the community. And I said something to him that only a nurse would say: none of us get out of here alive. And I was like, and he's like, what? I was like, yeah, it's a one-way ticket. I've never heard that before. I said, yeah, but what do you want to do with your quality time remaining? What can you do? What can you create? Who can you touch? What would that look like for you? And today he posted in his Facebook that conversation is still rocking his world. He said, something opened up within me that I have to go and help more people.
Mm.
And I know that feeling because that's the feeling I have when I talk to someone and that reaction happens. Lynn?
So join our Advancing Holistic Health Coaching Program. Here's just an overview. The 3 courses actually offer you double board certification. Through those continuing education hours, you can become both a nurse coach and a holistic nurse with the same contact hours. And we have the privilege of working with the American Nurses Association and the American Holistic Nurses Credentialing Corporation, 2 wonderful, wonderful backers of nurse coaching. And how does it happen that they're the backers? Well, it's because they created it. The AHNA and AHNCC came together, wrote a white paper back in 2010, published their first white paper in 2013, published their first book in 2013, entitled The Art and Science of Nurse Coaching. And the publisher was the American Nurses Association. So we're well backed by our professional associations. And it's such a privilege to be able to offer this to nurses today because we know this is the future of nursing. We're redefining what nursing is and what nurses do.
So to prepare to be a board certified nurse coach, you must take 60 continuing education hours. These CNEs also count for the holistic nursing certification. And then another requirement is to have 60 hours of supervised coaching. So our program covers you for that. We teach you about the transformative insights that we talked about. We teach you how to coach people and hold that space and listen deeply and help people take responsibility for their health, their life, and really truly create a life they want, that they want to live, that helps you lean into the visions you have for yourself. Lynn?
So what is the investment? Well, the bottom line is it's priceless. But since we're talking in dollars and cents today, it's one payment of $45.77 or 3 payments of $12.99. And there is a deposit of $9.97 also upfront.
But today, if you registered today, program price, you get $500 off. You can be on a payment plan option, and we can give you the registration link if this sounds like something for you. As a bonus for showing up here today, you can also get our C104, which is a $1,600 value, along with a 6-month free advanced course as part of your registration. With that, you actually have the ability to get an Advancing Holistic Health Coach certificate, as well as continuing education for recertification as time goes on. And you join a community of nurses who really do want to forward nurse coaching as a way to help with prevention, with closing the gaps in healthcare as we see it today. Navigating healthcare has never been this difficult, and nurses are really your go-to person to help you understand your treatments, what you are required to do to stay well, or what to do as you're healing. There's so many things that nurses offer that really the public doesn't know. It's kind of funny that we're less visible now than we were 10 years ago, because nurses are in every institution where people are giving care to someone. But I think we haven't highlighted enough that the value that nurses bring to the equation. We spend the most time with patients than any other profession. We know a thing or two about what it takes to create a healing environment, to encourage someone who is struggling to see life in a better way so they can overcome huge obstacles. And that's the beauty of nursing. We love doing that. I had a patient tell me, he said, every time you walk in the room, we fall in love with you just a little bit because we've never been so cared for. And nurses want to nurse. We want to help people thrive. We want to see them go on picnics with their families, go on vacation, and not worry about the health anxiety that's so prevalent today. So, Lynn?
Well, thank you so much for being with us today. It was wonderful to have you. So our key takeaways were in regard to blind spots, separate realities, and who's got the power. The way that we can look at this is simply to say that you can be the transformation that you want to see in the world. And I can't say this in a strong enough way, but by taking care of ourselves first, we take care of the world. When we feel peace within ourselves, we are bringing peace to the world. Thank you so much for being here today.
Put this little QR code on here if you'd like to visit the website and take a look at what we have to offer. And we would love for you to sign up for our newsletter. If you just fill in the contact page at the bottom, you'll get our information and stay up to date with what we have to offer. We actually are quite active in other places within our community. We're the co-leaders of the American Holistic Nurses Association chapter here in Austin. And we do a retreat or a conference every year. So there's ways to connect with us and join the conversation. But moreover, we would love to have you in our school. There is really nothing out there like this that's building the community that we're building. So we invite you to join us and get to know us and in our imperfect way, come into a loving space where we're all creating new life for ourselves and others.
We're easy to find at nursecoaching.com. And you'll find us under the advanced nurse coaching listing, but nursecoaching.com is our primary web address. I just thank you for being with us today, and I know the best is yet to come. So any questions, and you're more than welcome to unmute yourselves, and just well, you are welcome to simply have a conversation, and we're more than ready to do that.
Thank you for sharing. I always love listening to both of you. And I think it's just important to stay in the conversation about these three principles.
Yeah.
Whether I do it in Danish or try
Yeah.
to do it in English. Because every time I feel or hear something different, and I know the path for me is to see the strength inside, so I can be even more present, and listen even deeper with my patients. I'm not a nurse, I'm a physiotherapist, but working with elderly, handicapped, and severely ill people in their own homes, it has taken, what do you say in English? Taking a toll on my health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah.
So so I'm on that road where I recognize bit for bit the importance of embracing everything, especially the blind spots, when you see the blind spots.
Yeah.
Because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't help our patients or our family or whoever. So, so I'm just here to listen to both of you, to your wisdom.
Grateful for you to be here and grateful for the work that you're doing. I did rehab for many years, and when I was in school, I thought I'm never going to do that. Like, because I didn't understand it. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But it does take a toll because you have to hold that space for people who are crying with every part of their body for what's happening, right? And the beauty is you can give them that hope and understanding that you can still be okay even if you have this going on. I took care of a young lady who was in a boat accident and became paraplegic. And she was so angry, so angry. And one day I just sat with her and I just held her while she cried. That was my treatment. I just held her. There was nothing else to do. She was like, I don't want to be like this. But something changed in her because the next few days she had a sparkle to her that she didn't have before. And I asked her what changed. She said, I finally felt heard.
Oh, that's it. Teresa, how wonderful.
So that, and I didn't even know to do that. I just didn't know what else to do, right? And that was, I thought, all I can do. This is all I can do. Turns out it was enough. She went home not too long after that, and she decided that she was going to be in wheelchair sports. And I thought, good for you. I mean, she just wanted to feel normal. And that's what it really amounted to. So I feel you, and I applaud the work that you're doing. And you're right. If we don't take care of ourselves, I did not used to give myself enough grace. Like if I wasn't feeling well, I went in anyway. If I knew I needed a break, other people needed me more. And that was a story I told myself that was not true. And I think we're becoming more human with these conversations of like helping. Maui, how are you doing over there?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to unmute. 1
Oh,
second.
you are unmuted. I hear you.
Okay, perfect.
I think your name is Gabo. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
my name is Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Oh,
Okay. Very nice.
Yes, like the angel.
that's
Yes.
right.
Love it.
You know, I am super happy to connect with you. And I think it's such an important subject. I understand the importance of it. I understand the importance of some of the concepts you raise. Definitely the thing about transformational education rings a bell for me. But I would love to have a really deep conversation with both of you regarding your packaging, what you're trying to do, because that's what I try to help different clients do. I've been retired for 20 years, so this is not I don't work for money. I just want you to know. I work on purpose. I'm spirit driven. I
Wow.
listen to divine intelligence, tell me what to do, and they told me to come and check you out and see what I could offer. That's why I'm here.
Wow.
Um, and I'm thinking that my ex-wife is one person I would love to be able to approach on your behalf because she's been a very powerful trainer. She's a Berkeley PhD brain, and she has helped many people related to healthcare, but for seniors. She did some special training program for the nurses there, for the people taking care of seniors in senior homes, nursing homes, if I remember correctly. So it rings a bell to me that that would be one of the target population that I would encourage you to look for, like colleges that have nursing programs that need that kind of education. And in terms of an outreach, because I'm a business coach. I design training program for Department of Labor, for Department of Agriculture, for UC Berkeley,
Wow.
University of Hawaii. I design training program for all kind of target populations. So that's my interest, so you know. And I see the value of what you have to contribute, but somehow I feel something is missing. You know, I sense it.
Mhm.
There is the need, there is a solution, and there is a bridge that needs to be built between the two. But somehow I think you folks are struggling for bringing the message out. Is that right?
Yep.
We have already signed a contract with the University of, Texas Wesleyan University. So our program is brought to them online, and their doctoral nursing students take our course. So that's one thing that you talked about, schools of nursing. We're in one.
Yes.
But we know we need to be in all of them, and that's a big reach. In the meantime, though, let us just tell you what our two main goals are. Why
Okay.
are we here on the planet this time? To bring new life to ourselves and our profession, and to bring resilience to all of humanity through nursing. Those are our goals.
To bring resilience to the population through nursing,
Yes,
and my own word would be to empower nurses to take care of themselves better.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay. And may I ask you, in terms of a business goal for you too, are you trying to recruit individual clients? Is that
yes.
what you're trying?
It takes a
And
lot to do individual clients.
and these would be nurses.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. And you go about it through a course?
right.
Yes.
We do go to nursing association meetings. This week we're presenting at the Texas Nurse Practitioners, and in 2 weeks we're presenting at the Texas Organization of Nursing Leadership. So those are two primary ways that we've been connected with nurses, through the nursing associations.
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions in terms of what you deliver?
Sure.
It's a course available on demand,
Yes,
or so it's evergreen,
yes,
repackage.
yes,
Okay. Is there a coaching component with it?
yes.
It's a one-on-one coaching component.
We have a class once a week that all of our students come to. And then we also have individual or small group coaching calls with the faculty.
And you two are the faculty?
We're the faculty.
Okay. And how long is the course per se?
It's a 60 or 80 hours. You can choose 3 or 4 courses. Each course is 20 contact hours.
Okay. Have you worked with somebody who helps design courses or package courses or promote courses in terms of bringing your message out?
No.
I think that's the first thing I would recommend to you. Because the message is so important that it needs to be brought out in a more impactful way for people to really get the message. Even personally, I'm super interested because I'm a conscious, spirit-driven change agent, if you want.
Yes.
I was in charge of bringing Buddhism from Tibet to America.
Wow.
I'm originally from Haiti. I'm a UC Berkeley PhD graduate in economics. I design training programs. So
Wow.
I'm a lifelong troublemaker.
I like
Change
those kind of
agent.
people.
You are a troublemaker.
I like that.
Okay, so just to let you know, and I've been involved in a lot of shit too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And somehow I feel that I usually would not talk to strangers like this, like I'm talking to you, but this is so important. I feel that, okay, today I have to be authentic and tell you, you need help,
Yes.
you know? And it's, and how to, it's really how to do the webinar because I see it's a question of taking, please send me the recording. Okay. So let's start there. Send me the recording. Then I'll listen to it and I'll sleep on it to see what I can really suggest. And we can schedule, a one-on-one conversation. I don't want to take too much of your time now because then I'll see what is it that I would really suggest to you in terms of a pre-packaged webinar with audio visual, with the impact message, so people can really get it. You can have a 1 minute, you can have a 3 minute, you can have 5 minute, so that it's a question of getting people in your pipeline. So
Yes.
more and more people are really aware of it.
Right.
And right away, what I'm feeling is that you has the principal authors may not be the right people to promote yourself.
Right.
I think you're right.
It's much easier to get somebody else to promote you than you promote yourself,
Mm.
generally speaking. Okay.
You're
So
like
this
music to my
is
ears. This presentation is totally different than what we've done before.
Yeah.
Because we have been working with some people saying, do this. It doesn't feel authentic as I want it to, because
Yeah.
we're trying to do a different way of presenting. And so you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Which is one of the reasons we're working with Suzanne and working with Eric Lofholm. I don't know if you know who he is.
No.
And some other people, because we know we're nurses. We're nurses. I know what I do with patients. I know,
Yeah. Okay.
conversation in that
Thank
part.
you. Thank you for confirming that, because
Yeah.
I hesitated. I said, Gabriel, usually I had to really say, I said, okay, God, do you want me to say something? Yes.
No, I want you to say something. If we're not authentic here,
Listening.
there's no reason to be here, right?
Yes.
We
Yes,
want
yes,
to help people, and we know that we don't know it all. See that part
Yeah.
of don't know? What you don't know,
Yeah.
you can't do. That's
Yeah.
me right now. But what I
Yes.
do know is I want to help people learn what I've learned, to do what
Yes.
helps
And
people heal. And I don't have to do it, but I definitely want to be a part of that conversation.
yeah, and actually you've reached me too, because it's thanks to your words and your vibration that I'm speaking up too.
Wow.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for that and give you positive feedback for that, because you brought me here and I'm here and I'm reacting, so you see me hesitating a little bit, but it's okay. It's normal professional hesitation. But on the human level, I want to be fully committed to helping you to the best of my ability. Sure.
Wow. I feel
And
like you're an angel.
Well, he is Gabriel.
He is.
that's
You are.
actually,
Right.
actually more than that. I've been in training in apprenticeship with the Archangel Gabriela, who's a woman, by the way, you know, and I'm a Berkeley radical male feminist, you know, so, you know,
Watch out.
watch out, you
Wow.
know, because, but now is really a new time for things to change in the world.
Yes.
That,
Yes, it is.
and your presence tells me that. That's why I responded to the call, truly.
Yeah.
And so basically, the long and short for me is that you need to repackage, and I'll gladly volunteer to be a sounding board for you, whatever I can do, you know, to help you in that process. So I'll give you my number and you can contact me and we can have a one-on-one conversation.
Do you want to put that in the chat right now?
I can put it in the chat right now. Yes, I'll just give you my phone number. That's the best way to contact me. Do you do WhatsApp?
Are you on WhatsApp,
I
Teresa?
have
Yes.
WhatsApp. Yes, I do.
Okay, that's the best way to contact me.
Okay. Yeah, because, okay.
It's so 808-446-1410, right? And my name is Gabriel. I'll give you my whole last name, Gabriel Audent. And I'm also part of a collective healing, whatever, natural healing collaborative. And I can share with some of my colleagues about what you're doing, but I need a little more information before I do that.
Right.
And definitely I've been involved with Eben Pagan and learning coaching. My whole gig is spiritual coaching, so you want to know. And I'm working on a new kind of church. It's a church for lay ministers under section 508C1A, something like that, instead of 50. Anyway, it's a non-traditional church. It's a private nonprofit instead of public nonprofit.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
wow.
Anyway, this is what I'm working on now, and in due time, I'll keep you posted regarding what I'm doing, because that will provide a framework for us to collaborate, you know, from institution to institution. Because
Wow.
my gig is that it's so hard for me to work as an individual because I'm not a profit-minded person. So, but I needed a church, or I needed an umbrella corporation to function under, and
Right.
that's what I'm doing starting next week.
Wow.
So that will be easier for me to be able to have a collaboration with you from institution to institution instead of person to person. Because too many people are driven by money and making profit.
Yeah.
Although I help people make profit as a business coach, but that's not my motivation. That's not my interest.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to be traveling for a couple of weeks, so I'll be back after the 20th. So we'll have some time then.
Yes, I'm totally open. I mean, this is important, but there is no rush per se,
Right. Right.
you know. But anyway, the seed I want to leave with you is to think about packaging this as a evergreen webinar that somebody qualified, better qualified than me, I can be brainstorming, can help interview you, pull out the material out of you, and then put it in a dynamic video presentation that can be available on demand anywhere, everywhere.
Right.
Wow.
That's the long and short of my recommendation.
Okay.
That
And it
sounds a
should
lot
not-
easier.
Yeah.
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 We're open to other licensed health professionals besides nurses. So people that are in fields like psychology and sociology, physical therapy, we accept all licensed health professionals.
Yes, actually, the thing is that you need to connect with somebody who gets you better than you even get yourself.
Well, yes.
I agree with that.
And then that person can interview you, you see, as in a kind of podcast format, but on video or off video. Then they can take the recording, their recording, your recording, and put it in a way with the words and with the impressions, with images, to really bring the point into people's subconscious. That's really where we want to reach people at,
Right,
Right.
right.
you know? And then there will be problem, solution, hook, problem, solution, call to action, you know, like
You
It's
make
a-
it sound so easy.
Wow.
well, but I can say it, but I cannot do it. Okay, just
Oh,
just
okay. Okay. So I
okay.
feel better now.
No, because that's what happened. I'm a planner. I design
Yeah.
programs, but it's not my gig to
Right, to carry 'em.
deliver, to
Yeah.
care.
You
You know,
just
I can say
put them in the
we
order.
need
that
this,
they-
this, and I love my work because I can do this for
Yeah,
a lot of people, but I don't have to be. You see, I always say I'm a good project dad. I'm a lousy project mom.
Oh,
that's
You
great.
know, and
that's a
without a
good
project,
analogy.
and without a good project mom, there is no project.
Yeah.
That's right.
You see,
It has to be
so
nourished.
but I can see you as good project moms. Truly,
Yeah.
you. But it's your baby,
Right.
and I think, well, you know what? I think you need some good project dad.
Well, that's what happens when you're both really creative and you have the ideas and you have the connection and the nurture, but you don't have that system side. Like some people just thinking, oh, I have to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, if I do it like this, then I get there. No, I like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna do
yeah.
that. I'm gonna do that. And
And actually, as a Berkeley trained economist, as a radical economist, my gig has always been too much emphasis on the individualistic ethic that we need to do everything by ourselves.
you are
I think
absolutely
that's
right.
a really sickness of the society.
I
It
agree with
is.
you.
Yes, yes.
If we could learn to collaborate, then we would be so much more impactful agents of change in the world. And this
Well,
is like,
we're from Texas, so we're rugged individualists here.
okay. So
But
I
I
think
hear what you're saying. That resonates very deeply with me.
this is the, so if I were in your shoes, I would really pray, you know, ask divine intelligence to help you connect with the right person or team who can really embrace your project and make it their own
Mhm.
and work collaboratively to make it a win-win solution so that they benefit, you benefit, and then the world benefits.